All right, so what was that experience like?
I thought it was good, and being able to compare like what each of us wrote to like some of the questions and stuff was really interesting. For example, like the ancestry one, like we all had a different way of kind of writing about it, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, it was interesting to see how like everyone interpreted the assignment differently, I guess. Or like, yeah.
Now, I'm kind of curious, how specifically did some of the concrete nouns and language actually give you insights into somebody else?
I'm going to be perfectly honest here. I think that everyone had a bit of trouble with the concrete language, at least in that context. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be speaking for anyone, but this is just from observation. Because when you're talking about cultural things and, you know, people's backgrounds and whatnot, it's not all that easy to work concrete language in.
I'd agree with that.
Same.
Okay. Well, like I said, like these exercises are simply, you know, kind of prodding certain ideas, you know, and perhaps they might become useful in a different context. All right. So, would people like to move on to the next topic?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right, so I'm just going to go back. Okay, so I'm just going to screen share for a minute. Okay, so okay, I'm going to move over into the next item. Okay, for this next topic, it's going to be based on what I'd like to call different text forms. So most of you already know that the writing can either be prose or verse, which is poetry. I mean, basically, that's what those are the two kind of big kind of divisions. And so within poetry, there's all kinds of text forms. It could be a haiku, it could be a sonnet, it could be a ballad. It could be all kinds of forms within poetry. And then in prose, I mean, there's certain genres like the novel, the short story, the essay. But even within those big kind of genres, there are different forms which you can choose to write in. So this is what I wanted to introduce. And I'm just going to open up Dave's file folder. And some of you probably know that on Thursday, it's International Women's Day, March 8th. Is that on your personal radars? No? Okay. Well, one of the, like, I don't spend a lot of time reading online material, but there's a couple magazines, couple newspapers that I do like to read, and one of them is The Guardian, and there's a blogger. Her name is Jessica Valenti, and she is a very successful journalist. And what she's done, she's created this newsletter or blog, however you want to call it, and she calls it The Week in Patriarchy. And patriarchy is a concept of basically men running the world, or men running things. So what I really like about her post, her blog, like I get it on my phone, it's very readable. And so I'm just going to open it up. And okay, this is the it looks differently on the computer, but what she does, she has a weekly post, And you can see that she's got different articles. Like somewhere it actually identifies her as a feminist blogger. But she tends to be very political. Now, I'm not sure how many people know who Hope Hicks is. Is there anybody in the group who knows who she is?
I know. I'm kind of a political nerd.
Are you okay? So who is she?
Well, she was, until recently, the communications director for Donald Trump.
That's right. And so she just quit. And then, okay, so the week below is in response to the school shootings in Florida. The next two are in response to that. Okay, so I'm just going to open up the latest one. Should be able to open up. Okay, so what I really like about her format is she always has a lead, and is always very timely, very topical. And you can just try to get that out of the way. Okay, so her writing is usually very, very short. Like I would say this is no more than 150 words. And her posts are always really, really short. And then she embeds links into the articles, like a lot of people do. And then she has a format which is really, really consistent. So she has a little subheading called Glass Half Full. And then here, what I'm retweeting. And she actually lists the tweets that she's retweeting. And then she has what I'm reading, what I'm working on, how outraged she is, and then how I'm making it through the week. And so she's not always really serious. So there's a cat video here, or there's a video of a cat watching a horror movie, which, I mean, I would never know about something like that unless somebody pointed it out to me. So as a text form, like I would refer to this as digital media, because it's in a digital form, but it's still pretty print heavy. And she does embed some tweets, and she always has at least one image that's connected to the lead article. So, okay, so I'm going to stop sharing for a minute, or actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into the notes. And so what I want to kind of introduce here is just a little more, just awareness of the form. So I put the writer's name. Okay, the genre I would call digital media. It's online journalism. So it's a prose form. As far as the structure, what I would say, it's got kind of multiple, I call it multiple subheadings. It's got a really predictable format, and lots of embedded links. And as far as the sentence type and style, I'm just kind of wondering, like in your previous English classes, if you've covered like sentence style or type. And I've embedded a link here that explains some of those, but the basic types are simple, compound, complex, and something called compound complex. I'm just going to stop sharing for a bit so I can see your faces. Have people, like, have those kind of types of sentences been brought to your attention? You can do a shake of the head, yes or no. Okay, question, shrug. Okay. Now, the reason I bring that up is because if writers develop a kind of a style of their own, it's probably based on the patterns of their sentences and other things. Like there's another thing I mentioned in there, what they call diction or word choice. So diction is like you can describe you can describe something, the same thing, in different ways, but based on your kind of your choice of words, it can also influence what often is referred to as the tone of your writing. So I'm just going to flip back to that blog. Okay, I'm just going to look at one other one of hers. Okay, now I imagine you all know about the shooting in Florida. And I'm not sure to what extent you know, well, the shooting in Florida has really triggered more than just discussion, but moving towards action on gun control in the United States. And so if you, like, I'm just trying to think the best way to do this is, so I'm trying to think the best way to do this. Like one possibility is to have you perhaps in small groups actually look at one of her posts, like look at one of her weekly posts, and just see if you can identify, in this case, like the one thing I would like to have you focus on is the idea of tone, which is kind of related to word choice. I'm not sure if like how comfortable do you feel that maybe working in a small group, kind of looking at one of her weekly posts and just seeing, because I think it's quite a unique form. Or is that something, like I've kind of led you through part of it, but what I'm hoping to do is to get you to maybe identify a text form that you like and that you feel is suitable for the kind of communication that you want to do. So I'm just going to leave some open space there for you to comment.
Sorry, so I'm not quite sure I'm following. Are we commenting on hers or coming up with a text form that we like?
Okay, initially, I'd like to practice by commenting on Jessica Valenti's kind of format. And I'm just trying to figure, would it be worthwhile to do it in smaller groups? And just, if you click on, like I can actually, well, hopefully if you have the agenda open, you can actually click on that, what I was showing you, and it lists a bunch of different weeks. Okay. Okay. I have a feeling, okay, so if we're all in the same group, I have a feeling I'm going to end up doing a lot of the talking. And I already have my own ideas about her format. And like for me, okay, so her purpose in writing, she's a journalist. She covers the news. That's her job. but she covers the news with an openly feminist slant. Like she does not hide her angle. So that's kind of the bigger purpose behind her writing. But then what I want you to consider is how does her format, how does the form she write in actually, like how does it assist her in her purpose? So what I could do, I could break you into two groups, and all I need is one person in the group to be able to link to, like just open the link. Now, are people able to open? Like, if people go into in topic 2 in PowerSchool, if people can get onto that page and just open Dave's file folder, maybe that's probably the first step. Okay, so let me just share the screen just to make sure you know how to get there. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to page. If I go to pages, okay, so this brings me to topic 2. And then I have to go through the group wiki. And then I'm just going to close topic 1. And then once I'm in topic 2, I can click on Dave's file folder. And she's right at the top. Okay, so can I get people to?
Like I'm able to access that.
Is
like you know how yours like has like an arrow beside it, beside the topic 2? Mine doesn't for whatever reason.
Really? Okay. How about Peyton? Can you get into topic 2? Because I can also just send a link.
Yeah, no, I found it, opened topic 2, opened her page. That's
Okay. Okay, here's another way into it. Okay, so here's the link. Like I'm not even sure whether to call it a blog. Okay, so so Peyton, you're able to open that link?
Yeah, I've had it open here for a little while.
Okay, how about Amira? Are you able to open that link?
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, Kate, Olivia?
Yeah.
Perfect.
No
Okay, and how about Liv?
Yeah, it's just loading.
Okay. All right, and Trinity, her computer seems to be crashing, or she's in and out of the room. Trinity, are you there?
She probably left and to try and come back in. She does that sometimes.
All right. Okay, I'm going to do one thing here. Okay, I'm just going to leave a couple of things left. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can. Okay, this is what I want you to look at with what's remaining. And I wonder if I can paste the whole thing. Okay, so the actual sentence type, if you can comment on that, that's fine. But what I really would like you to look at here is the tone. So if you read one of her posts, and they're fairly short, like how does she develop? she develops a really strong, what I would call, like her voice as an author, as a writer. It's really, really powerful. She's a powerful writer. And then the other, like the unique features of this format. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to break you into two groups, and there'll be, I guess, well, I'll join one of the groups for a while, but I'm just going to break you up into different groups. Okay. And Trinity, are you there somewhere?
Yeah, my Wi-Fi stopped working, so I was having issues, but I think I fixed it. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So Trinity, I'm going to have to add you to a room. But okay, so it's going to be Liv and Peyton, and then Olivia and Amira, and I'm just going to open the rooms. So, Olivia, are you able to? Were you able to open that blog?
Yeah. Should I
Okay.
screen share?
Yeah. Can you screen share?
Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
First one here.
Yeah. Okay. So this is interesting. So you're a political junkie?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Well, one of my daughters lives in the United States, and she's the communications officer for a woman who's running to be governor of Michigan.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and this is her third political campaign. She's only 30. She just turned 31, and she was working for a guy who got reelected to Congress. He's in the House of Representatives, and so she lived in Washington for about 6 months, Washington D.C., and then she got recruited to work on a woman's campaign. And
that's cool.
yeah, so she manages different kind of media. Like, she's the filter through which all the press releases go. So it's really good work. It seems to fit her personality. It's fast paced. No 2 days are ever the same. Okay, so what I'm hoping. Okay, so now, Amira, were you also able to open up this blog?
Actually, I can't find the blog. I'm on her page, but which blog is it?
Okay, so can you hit the back arrow, Olivia?
Yeah.
Just to the left.
Or maybe. Sorry.
It's all right. Okay, so this is Jessica Valenti's page, and this is where all her material is archived.
Okay.
Okay, so every week, so it's so March 10th is going to be what? What is it? So that's going to be Saturday. It comes out on a Saturday. Okay, so you can see that. Okay, so if you scroll down a little bit, keep going. Let's get one that's maybe not so violent. Okay, let's look at this one, Women Are Rising. So once you click on that one, all right, so if you look at her format, she always has a lead article. Okay, and this was, there was some kind of protest that was happening. Okay, so here she's actually traveling in Copenhagen in Denmark. And so you'll notice that with her format, it's, okay, if you keep scrolling down a bit, that's it. So that's her whole art. The gist of the article is 4 short paragraphs. And she always has a little subheading called glass half full, which you probably know the expression glass half empty. So she's trying to look on the positive. So she's always trying, there's a lot to be critical of, but what she always does, she tries to find something in the news that is positive. Okay, and then she's got this section, what I'm retweeting, and then if you scroll down some more, she's always got, tweets now, a lot of times people tweet with images.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you keep going to the bottom, you can see that yeah, so she's got several tweets here, and then she always has what she's reading,
Yeah.
and what I'm writing, and always how outraged I am, and how I'm making it through the week. These are constants in her format.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm trying to get you to do is maybe together, if you look at this, I just want you to think about this as a form that's successful. It may not be useful to you, but it's a form that I just want you to examine it, and if you can maybe read a bit of it together, and maybe just look at the tone of it, and the tone is kind of the attitude or feeling that comes off from the writing. So I know that this is a very challenging task, but I'd like you to, if you can just try to probe and explore this writer's work. And you're not really looking at the content so much as the structure. Okay, so I'll give you maybe, how long do you think you need? 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
5?
Okay, okay, sounds good. Okay, so Amira, do you have a sense of what you're doing?
I kind of lost you halfway.
Okay, Olivia, can you explain it?
What we're doing?
Yeah.
We are looking at this article and trying to understand the form and what makes it effective as a piece of journalism. Basically, sort of.
Okay. Does that make a bit of sense, Amira?
Yeah.
Okay. This is an unusual thing. If I were physically in the same space with you, I might do something different, but I've set it up a certain way.
Mm.
Okay, there's no right answer here either. Like there's no test at the end. Okay, I'm going to check in with the other group. Okay, so I'll give you 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Dave's saying is like categorizing your style and work
Yeah.
might make it easier to understand, but
I've just joined your group, just so you know I'm here.
Yep.
So have you been able to kind of discuss some of the form of this writer's work?
A little bit. It seems like none of us have really thought about sentence structure,
Okay.
really. Like, we've just never really thought about it. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, we can maybe leave that for another day. And how about, what did you make of the actual format?
Well,
Um,
no, you go first.
it's very concise.
There you
I
go.
mean, if you wanted like your little bite-sized bits of information on, you know, whatever she talks about, that'd be an easy place to go. Not a fan myself. Like I'd frankly just rather go to an ordinary news website and, you know, see a little bit less explicit bias, shall we say.
Okay. Okay. Well, I like your word concise because I think you nailed it. Is maybe concise to a fault?
Yeah. It's like you were talking earlier about whether she's a blogger or not. I would definitely say she's a blogger.
Okay.
It's mostly just opinion pieces on other people's articles, from what I can tell. So
I would agree on what Peyton said earlier about kind of rather reading like the facts from an actual news article rather than like someone who's biased and opinionated, because I don't know, for me, I'd rather like read the facts and then make like form my own opinion based off of that, rather than like kind of be, I guess, like swayed by other people's opinion.
I would agree with that also.
Okay. Well, you know, it's interesting. Like it's like I agree that this is not my preferred way of reading. I actually prefer longer articles as well. And yeah, the only thing I was trying to figure out is whether or not she was trying to just kind of create a platform for other people to share their ideas. I mean, she seems to link to a lot of other people's work.
well, that might be one advantage, is she goes and researches this stuff, and then, you know, you click on the links on her. I haven't actually looked at the links that she put in the article because that wasn't really the focus, but
Well, if the second, okay, last week's, not the current blog, but the previous week's blog had a really good, I think it might have been something she retweeted, but it was actually an interview a high school student had with I think he's a congressman from Florida. And so in its sense, like she didn't have any kind of script. Like she just let that work stand for itself. Like she didn't really comment on it. I mean, but I think it's really clear, like what you say, like she's openly biased, and she only puts in stuff that she agrees with. So I guess in that way, it's limiting. Okay. All right. Now, were there other things you wanted to discuss before you go back to the main group?
I feel like I had a thought, but I might have lost it.
Okay, because the other group, I think what we'll do, let's go back to the main group, and then if people want to maybe discuss from their groups, and then we'll take a break. Okay, so I'm going to leave the breakout room and go back to the main room.
Okay.
Right. Hello.
Mm.
Hi. Now the other people are back into the main meeting room. Are you ready to rejoin it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and we'll have a quick chat and then a break.
Okay.
Okay, I'm always amazed when this works. So everyone's back in the room. And now, like, so Trinity, Olivia, or Liv, and Peyton, is there any one big idea that came out of your group you want to share?
Yeah, I'm not sure if the rest of my group is here. They seem to be muted and video off, but
I am here. I'm just eating. But
no.
Okay.
All right, cool. They're free to cut in, but I think that in general, we found that she was very aggressively biased, but also very concise in her writing. She threw her opinion out, and, you know, everyone else can say what they want about it. And you can use it as a jumping off platform to read what articles she's linked and all that too.
So anybody else from that group want to add?
I'd say Peyton pretty much summed it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and how about Amira and Olivia? Okay, Olivia, you're muted. I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I guess we thought it was kind of casual, like to the point, but also it's like your friend telling you about the news.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So it didn't seem very formal?
Some seem more formal than others.
Okay, well, that's really interesting. Okay, Amira, what did you think?
I liked how she was very straightforward with it. Like she didn't stall too much on a certain thing. Yeah, I'm pretty much the same with everybody else on the opinion.
Okay. Yeah, so it almost seems like there's a bit of, she's concise to the point where she's not very thorough, but then her writing is direct and you can just skim through her art. Like with her, when I get it on my phone, I can read it in several minutes. And if I'm interested, I can follow it up later. Okay, well, thank you. I think you did a really good job. My instructions were probably not very good. But some of the conversation about the benefits of it, I think that did come out. Okay, so it's 3:06. Do people want to come back at 3:15? Gives you about 10 minutes. All right, I'll take that as a yes. I'll just pause. Okay, so I'll just pause the recording. All right. So enjoy your break.